I am pleased to see you again on my Coin Lady channel. A ticking clock is ticking away for the SEC. Are they planning to appeal, folks? In fact, I intend to devote this entire movie to discussing this singular subject. And I do have some interesting knowledge to share with you, as it comes from an attorney who is part of the XRP community. He shared it recently, so I figured he might as well. Will there be an appeal? I'm as curious as anyone else. In what ways does this matter? To start, let me state that this is really my modest opinion. The more I've pondered the topic, the more I've come to the conclusion that I hadn't actually made a formal forecast about it. I had no choice but to twist my arm if I was compelled to make a forecast. Grasped it? Immediate decision-making is required. I should probably respond negatively, but I'm really hesitant to do so, because it would be the obvious choice. If the SEC were to prioritize that, it would be because it truly serves their best interest. However, even the SEC repetitions so often. The SEC's behavior in situations where it is not in their best interest happens all the time, and it's shocking. I blame the insane egos, utter arrogance, and filthy behaviors of the SEC members for this. They haven't actually made a bold prediction, and that's why I'm applauding. I mean, anything could happen. I wouldn't be astonished if they did, but time is of the essence. The next thing to consider is, what would the consequences be? Whatever happens, I have a sneaking sense that most XRP holders already know the cryptocurrency has legal certainty. So, it's possible that the market may experience some level of panic, and XRP's price may fall slightly, but I do not anticipate this to have any significant impact. The label is the main reason why I don't. Furthermore, the SEC is not challenging XRP's legal standing, even in the event that it files an appeal. Actually, they have already made it clear that they are not going to do that. And I believe that's partly because, as Attorney Hogan pointed out more than a year ago, they can't properly appeal Judge Torres's statements regarding XRP since they were dicta. A crypto fundamental headline. The moment for the SEC to appeal Ripple's decision has come. As the appeals deadline draws near, the SEC has 39 days to respond to the court's decision in its ongoing legal battle with Ripple. I'll take a moment to mention that this was as of yesterday, but that's not all. As the XRP community and Ripple celebrate their partial but well-fought victory over the SEC, they should not forget that there is an important date that will finally put an end to the years-long legal battle. Whether or if the top regulator will contest the partial victory on August 7 is unclear. Nevertheless, it has until October 6 to do so, and the Ripple legal team also has until then to contest certain portions of the rulings that the SEC won. The final court ruling in the SEC versus Ripple case was a mixed bag for both sides. However, judging by the statements made publicly by executives at Ripple, such as Stuart Alderati, Rebels, the chief legal officer, and Brad Garland House, it's clear that they consider this a victory. They have stated their intention to gladly pay the fine, which was levied. They are being penalized $120 million, or $5 million. Perhaps they already have the funds in their bank account, so it's not an issue. Since this won't derail their business model, I believe they simply want it to be over with and will press on. No, it isn't. In other words, they're good. It's just my opinion, but I don't see Ripple's appealing. I could be wrong, though. Regarding the SEC, I'm basically giving up. Well, I suppose I might say that they won't if I had to guess, but I must admit that I'm not very convinced of that, for the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of the movie. Whatever the situation may be, the previous judge's ruling that XRP pay a $125 million fine to the US ensures that the peace endures. Before the remedy decision was finalized, the regulator had 60 days to appeal, she said. Remarkably, the $2 billion that the top US regulator had originally planned to punish the digital payment giant was slashed by a staggering 94%. It was plainly outrageous, you know. There was no way that could have happened. In another piece, I won't bother reading it, but I must stress this point. I might be able to find a quote from him here. The Crypto Basic bag dated August 16 contains this, though. The proposed SEC appeal wave went under that name. It is estimated by CLO that fewer than 10% of appeals result in a reversal. Therefore, even with an appeal, you will only win 10% of the time if you rely solely on that to play the odds. Plus, there's a lot of potential danger with that amount of work. Despite that, Stuart, you know what I mean. Am I correct? Aside from that, he did mention that he wouldn't be shocked if the SEC appeals nonetheless. He explained that it's not their stupidity, but their arrogance and disgustingness that make them stand out. The fact that they are unable to compute things is not the reason they are making these bad decisions. A lot of brainpower goes into them. Their lousy character causes them to constantly make poor choices that aren't even beneficial to themselves. One XRP community member, attorney Bill Morgan, offers his thoughts on the matter. I am becoming less and less certain that the SEC would appeal the Ripple summary judgment decision, assuming the decision to appeal is only based on legal reasons. He wrote just 2 days ago. I mentioned in yesterday's post that Judge Orrick in the cracking case favored the approach of Judges Jackson and Torres in the Binance and Ripple cases, which differentiates between primary and secondary market transactions, over Judge Rakoff in the Terraform case, which did not. Those familiar with the Follies cases may remember that commentators made a big deal about how Judge Torres' reasoning in the Terraform case was inconsistent with and, in their view, reflected poorly on Judge Torres' reasoning regarding programmatic sales. Despite the favorable comments about Judge Torres' reasoning in the Ripple summary judgment decision, Judge Orrick in the Kraken case and Judge Jackson in the Binance case did not share this preference. Can help calm skeptics like Charles Gasparin, who questioned her decision-making among XRP users. Charles Gasparino is obviously well known. He believes the Torres judgment was completely useless, and he hosts Fox Business on the Fox Business Network. He believed that XRP was a decision or security under some circumstances but not others, which is obviously not the case. I read his entire article and respectfully disagree with him on this point. While I don't remember all the details, I do remember that it's important for memory at this point. Later on, whenever his viewpoint was challenged, he would often say things like, "Look, the other judges don't agree with what Torres said." This pattern continued for quite some time. Time has flown by, and here we are with a pair, haven't we? Time is all that's needed for other crypto instances. However, attorney Bill Morgan cites her in other cases, so there is support for her. Since this is Charles Gasparino's point of view, it seems to reason that it will age gracefully, and it has up to this point, to be sure, and beyond that. He told Charles Gasparino, "Hey, you know this isn't necessarily gonna go well for XRP and holders since he's involved in another issue. Things could change, and you're aware of that." I went so far as to say that the SEC has already stated that they will not appeal the ruling on whether XRP is a security, and to be honest, that's because they just cannot. To reiterate what I've said before, the status of XRP and its ability to be traded on open markets are what matter most to the average XRP holder, regardless of whether you know the SEC wins on the institutional side. That was also grasped. This is a huge one, then. I mean, I'm curious about the rest of it because it's all related to the case, but personally, I don't care. Nothing will change in my life because of that. I appreciate you taking the time to view my online video. Bye for now, and please subscribe to my channel and give it a like.